media is awash with reactions over a tweet made by the Department of State Services requesting X Corporation to deactivate the account of activist and politician Omoyele Sowore over a post the agency claims is a threat to national security. The DSS made the demand in a letter posted on X, accusing Sowore of posting a tweet on August 25th, which contains misleading information that disparages and ridicules President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In the post, Sowore called the president a criminal and accused him of lying shamelessly about a lack of corruption. The DSS claims that Sowore's tweet has caused widespread condemnation and could lead to public protests, threatening national security and damaging the country's reputation. The agency also argued that Sowore's post violates several Nigerian laws, including the Criminal Code Act and the Cybercrimes Act, which prohibit false information, hate speech, and online harassment. And I'll read a part of the DSS tweet. They wrote on X, "It is pertinent to bring to your knowledge that under the Nigerian law, these quoted tweets, words, constitute offense punishable in Section 51 of the Criminal Code Act Cap 77 laws of the Federation of Nigeria, which prohibits publication of false information, and Section 19, 22, and 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act 2025, which prohibits and makes it an offense to spread fake news or publishing content that is deliberately misleading or deceptive, posting content that is rude, vulgar, offensive, or indecent, especially with the intent to embarrass or humiliate others, provoke ethnic, religious, or tribal hatred through online or offline statements amounting to domestic terrorism." Very detailed tweets there by the DSS. However, in a show of defiance, activist Omoyele Sowore vowed not to delete his controversial tweet. He described the letter from the DSS as an act of national disgrace, an assault on institutions, and on common sense. Sowore claimed he anticipated the letter, pointing to a protest last Tuesday by a group of, he says, hired DSS protesters who had chanted for his arrest and urged him to leave Tinubu alone. Expressing outrage over what he called an unconstitutional act by the State Security Service, Sowore went on to post the very tweet he was asked to delete with a caption. "This is the tweet. This morning, X, formerly Twitter, officially contacted me about the despicable threat letter they received from the lawless official DSS over my tweet below on Tinubu. One option I will not be taking is deleting that tweet. Thank you at X." Dr. Bati, I'll come to you, but let me just quickly take one reaction to Sowore's tweet. And this is a concerned X user who wrote, "In all sincerity, calling the president a criminal is not right in any way. No court of any jurisdiction has pronounced him as one. I mean, why labeling him one?" Go ahead, Dr. Bati.
Okay, two ways to look at this. From the perspective of government, the concern of the Department of State Security is that we have a law in place, the Criminal Code, the very controversial Cyber Security Act, Sections 18, 22, and 24. Section 24 being the most controversial, particularly as it has been applied by the police. And the DSS is saying, under the laws of our country, we do not allow hate speech or cyberbullying, which will amount to domestic terrorism. And that they, in their own consideration, think that Sowore calling the president of Nigeria a criminal, when he has not been so declared by a court of law, is beyond the pale. And that was why they wrote to X, managers of X, to say, delete that particular tweet and in fact suspend his account. Now the ex-managers, following due process, contacted him and gave him the information. But how was this resolved at the end of the day? The tweet was on August 27, and Sowore says he's not going to delete any tweet. And I think that X has also not suspended his account. X probably say, look, he has the right to free speech and all of that. However, he went a step further to say he's defiant, that he's been persecuted by the Nigerian government. And his supporters will say that, in fact, there's probably a case of persecution here from the protest at the toll gate, NSAS, from NSAS protest to arraignment in court to, invitations by the police. And now he says the DSS has also now joined. But that the struggle for him continues, whether they imprison him or they take him to court or they delete his Facebook account or they delete his X account, that he is committed to the struggle. So, people like Sowore, they are of a different type. He's also an opposition politician. And he says, this is where I stand in this matter. So where do you draw the line, theoretically now, between the right to free speech and, the laws of the land that talk about his speech, and where is the responsibility of government in enforcing these laws? It's a very tight rope. There's no way you will swing and you will not end up, being accused of taking sides in the matter. However, what is important is that while the government has a responsibility to respect the boundaries in terms of the rights of the individual, individuals also, while expressing their rights under Section 39 of the Constitution, must also realize that, look, where your right stops is where other people's rights begin. And that is why government, individuals, they have the recourse, if they have been defamed, to under the same laws that the state is quoting, to defamation. The president of Nigeria can sue If you call him a criminal, you can be asked to come and prove it in a court of law. Right. If you defame another person using social media, you can be sued to come and prove it. So it's a very delicate balance in respecting the rights of individuals and also upholding the law.
All right, you know that Sowore also accused the Tinubu regime of using the Nigeria police force to systematically harass, torture, and persecute him. These tweets have gone viral. Rufai, I'd like to just highlight this. The DSS is a secret service institution that investigates crimes against the state. They are also empowered to protect the president. So this might sound really, strange to a lot of people, but however, the DSS is doing their job. And I'd like to also take another tweet before I come to you. Just also to note that the DSS has said that, they're going to go after X as well as, Sowore if they don't comply. We had that issue the last time with Muhammadu Buhari, the Twitter ban. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but let me take this tweet from Chinedu, who wrote to the DSS. Are you guys not aware of the mayhem that happened in Edo State? They killed officers like you, and you are here lamenting about a tweet from Sowore, and that's the sort of rhetoric that we are seeing online at this point.
I have been a very big advocate of the DSS and what they've been doing in 70 years of insecurity. But if I'm going to give honest counsel, this was not the right way to go about it. And this is sad. You see, what they have now done is, a lot of people might not even seen Sowore's tweets. He said he tweeted it on the 27th.
Yes.
26th of August.
I think it was 25th. I saw
what are we today? Yes. What are we today? 8th. I only knew about the tweets because they started talking about it and the letter they wrote over the weekend.
That's when you saw Sowore's tweet.
I didn't even know that he tweeted anything of that nature. This is not the way to go about it. Because, you see, we live in a country where, when we want to look at things on the pedestal of fairness, yes, what I would just say is, it wasn't right to have called the president a criminal. You don't have any court judgment to be able to back that up. But secondly, the other part of the tweets, what the president also went to say in Brazil, that corruption is gone. Corruption is not gone from Nigeria. We also know that corruption is not gone. On my point on the DSS, what is happening is the fact that when you start to say, okay, let's cherry pick, people will now ask you, what about what is happening in Edo, where NSCDC officials were killed? What do we talk about? What about the people inciting violence online? Because the DSS statement talked about inciting violence, and the next thing, you're not doing anything. We are in this country when Bayo Onanuga came out openly to say that this should be the last time the Igbo should put mouth in Lagos politics. Right. And he also doubled down on the statement. Why didn't we have a level of control and contrition? So that's why I said going through this route is a route that will not benefit anybody. All right. That's just my point.
That's your point. Can I just and highlighting what Rufai has said, which is quite apt. The fact that there are so many other ex-users that have made these sort of derogatory remarks or even statements is quite apt because the DSS should go after everybody and not cherry pick, which I like as well. But I would like for you to buttress the point I was making.
I just wanted to say that for me, what would really matter would be when Sowore made the statement after the clarification or before.
He made it before.
Before the clarification.
So,
okay, but before the clarification, then I can understand why he put it. But following the clarification, I do believe that if he continues down that path, then he's just deliberately wanting to attack what has already been clarified. Yes, it's not a good look for the president's statements to be frequently clarified, but he does have the right to do so. You can speak off the cuff, and then you can clarify your statement in his defense. Because we've seen situations where they make a statement and they stand by that statement. To respect, so do whatever you want to do. They stand by that statement. So following the facts, then I would say, okay, I understand where they're coming from. But I totally agree that the challenge with this is selective justice, and selective action, which the DSS has been accused of doing. But beyond that, I must say that there's no one that's above the law. In 2021, the president of the United States account was banned by Twitter itself, following statements that were deemed to be inflammatory when he talked about the calling patriots the people who invaded, Capitol Hill. So it does happen, and that's why they called for an outright ban. That if this account consistently misleads people or could instigate, unrest based on information that is not fully correct, then they can take an action. However, I do hope that the DSS, since they want to be, they are really, the action is there to clamp down on hate. They can't cherry pick. If they're doing it to Sowore to show that it is not targeted and agreeing with what he says that he has been a target since NSAS, they need to ensure that a lot of people, and I can give them a lot of handles, whether it is causing ethnic division, inciting ethnic, rhetorics, they're a lot of.
So the Cyber Crimes Act just came into law, right? And we hope that we follow up with the DSS.
Oh, like this in one shall never anyway. Yes, sir. Concerning this Sowore issue, Mr. So right now, according to the news, you understand, DSS they don't write Twitter. You understand? They say me they take down Sowore account. Me they take down Sowore because he defamed the government. You understand? Can you imagine? Okay. What you Sowore talk? No be lie. Not be lie. Because all these people they don't even want me when they talk about them. You understand? Me they talk about them. For the corruption, what they do? I understand. They want you silence everybody. You understand? Because what you Sowore is not truth. Now what did they happen for Nigeria? You understand? Now what did they happen? See the way they pack people everywhere. Insecurity. They don't talk about them. They don't talk about they lock up. So the see person now we they talk about that they don't want anybody expose them. Now go help us with the country. Now go help us. Yeah. No, I support the Sowore. You understand? I support the Sowore. So be they free Sowore. You understand? Me they free am. Because they are too much. I bet me na me share the video. I click on stop.